All right, folks, good evening. Welcome. It's another Friday in the land, and we welcome you one and all to another date on the Journalists Hangout show. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, on the program this evening, INEC asks Dangles on Edo governorship election amid battle for control of State Assembly and worsening threats of violence as NMA election in Enugu State gets bloody. Now, UK warns citizens against traveling to Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Gombe, and parts of Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and other states over insecurity. Now, hear this. Naira Marley, arraigned in Abuja, convicted on 4-count charge of COVID-19 guideline violation. And later on in the show, outpouring of tributes and encomium as Afenifere chieftain Ayo Fasomi is buried in his Ekiti home. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju BKO. I greet you, Jide.
I greet you, Citizen.
And we have on Skype our brother and colleague Majid Jamiu. Majid, I greet you.
Citizen Jones.
Yep.
Good evening. Thank God it's Friday.
All right then. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Let's go. You know, Edo State on the mind. With about 42 odd days to go to the 19th September governorship election in Edo, I'm frighteningly reminded of Murphy's Law, which states that anything that can go wrong will always go wrong. The electoral umpire INEC has threatened to suspend the election if a breakdown of law and order occurred there. The build-up, inclusive of the war of words, are the potential vice-like control of the State House of Assembly. Tell me the road ahead looks gloomy, Jide. I'm sorry. And we're talking about the heartbeat of the nation.
Yes, it's fast transforming into the heartbeat of violence. I have my fears. I have my fears about this election, and I pray that my fears do not come to pass. I pray that my fears do not come to pass, because it's worrisome that politicians will go to the extent that they are going in our country. When you look at what is happening in Edo State, it is now by partisan polarity. It is no longer Oshomole versus Obaseki.
Yeah.
It is now PDP versus APC. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Because Obaseki has gone into the PDP and he has support of his fellow PDP governors. So the contest has assumed a different dimension. It's before now, you know, all of them were in the APC. All the lawmakers that won the election, the 24 of them, were APC. It was Obaseki that divided them by inaugurating some and refusing to inaugurate others. So we have a situation now in which 17 lawmakers from that assembly have now decided to pitch their tent with the candidate of the APC. In fact, I heard that two more are
Waiting in the
likely.
wing.
Yes, maybe within the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
2 more will join the 17, making it 19.
Out of it, 24.
Yes, 19 out of 24. He has 7 currently. So if two members decide,
Defect, yeah.
yes, because there seems to be a festival of defection.
Oh, boy.
From Obaseki's side to Ize-Iyamu's side. So if those two go to join Ize-Iyamu, it means that it will just be left with 5 lawmakers. I'm worried, because ordinarily what we want to see is an Edo State House of Assembly that everyone got inaugurated and they are doing their work. Well, that's not what we've seen.
Yeah.
And these guys have been worried that they won an election. They decided to follow the law by declaring their assets, but they are not being allowed to to do their work. They then wrote to the Attorney General of the Federation. I'm going to the genesis of what we are going through. They then wrote to the Attorney General of the Federation, appealing to him through their lawyer, West Idahosa, to
get themselves inaugurated.
To allow for the exercise of democracy.
Okay, to prevail
as it concerns them. Because it's clear what had been done. What had been done was the height of impunity. The Senate came up with a motion urging him to do a fresh proclamation involving the committee of the whole house, involving the whole house. But the governor refused for reasons best known to him. Now, after the Attorney General got the letter of from the lawyer to these lawmakers, he then approached the Inspector General of Police to use his good office to ensure that
the right things were done.
Yes, that democracy prevailed as it concerned the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
That was how the events of yesterday, that was the genesis of the events of yesterday. As a student of politics, my view has always been that where the majority is where the house is.
That's it.
It doesn't matter whether the mace is with you or the mace is not with you. And I would like to remind Nigerians what happened during Okadigbo's time as Senate President. Okadigbo took the mace to Ogbunike. But what did we see? Since his colleagues had made up their minds that they wanted to remove him, they got something that looked like the mace.
Mace, yeah.
And then put it on the table and proceeded to impeach him. And that impeachment was not reversed. So the mace is just a symbol.
Yeah.
As the great F.R.A. Williams said, if, I'm quoting but not exactly as he said, this walking stick, if I put it on my table and I put a coat of arms
on it,
it becomes my symbol.
That's it.
So that is how those lawmakers at that time, that was the same principle that they followed. They knew that the mace had been taken away, but they got something else as a symbol of, to represent the mace, and they went ahead and impeached Okadigbo at that time, and that impeachment stood. So is where the majority is, that the house is.
And that's what they tell us, Majid, in a democracy, majority will always carry the day. Majid, but beyond that, it is said in politics, when anything goes wrong, just know it was designed to go that way, because refusing to inaugurate 14 lawmakers from day one was like sowing the seed of discord. You understand me? And of course, not inaugurating them was coming back to haunt. Or so it seems.
No, like I said, the chicken and the birds are coming home to roost. And, just about now, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has directed or advised the Inspector General of Police to provide security for the 17 members of the House. And like Jide said, we saw this coming. We warned Obaseki, but as it were, like INEC also threatened, or rather, the statement issued by INEC that it could cancel the elections in Edo, that the elections are under threat. I think the stakes are really very high, and tempers are flaring. APC, PDP, there's a show of strength. There's a flexing of muscles. We heard that a lot of mercenaries are already in Edo.
Oh, come on.
I just pray that, a lot of mercenaries from the Niger Delta, they're in Edo.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are. Then, we don't want a bloodbath. If the election, if we are not sure of a free, credible, and fair election, I think it's better, the doctrine of necessity comes to play here, because no life is worth, no election is worth the life of a single individual. And the way the principal actors in the Edo election are going, it's like they want a do or die affair, and I don't think we need that now.
Yeah.
Edo
Yeah.
already very, very, but then there is no way 7 can be greater than 17 as we have now. And from what they just said and what is making the rounds, we could have 17 against less than 7.
Yeah.
As the days
19 against 5.
Yeah, so from all indications,
Yeah.
the security apparatus are with the numbers, as in it's quite obvious, unlike what obtained in Ekiti or Plateau or your state during the larger era.
I was going to,
I think
Jamia, I was going to quickly go there. I was going to go to, what you said just now, Ekiti and Plateau on the mind. Former President Obasanjo applied the big stick. If INEC issues the red card to the process in Edo, what do you think will happen next?
Yeah, you see, we have a president, President Buhari, who, when it comes to issues like this, he is with the majority. He will toe the line of the rule of law, and rather than allow a bloodbath, he will rather support INEC. If the security agencies cannot assure INEC of a free, fair, and credible, peaceful elections, then the president will have no choice than to, of course, he will get security briefings on a daily basis, even from the security. INEC is not acting on its own. INEC is acting based on security reports on ground, and that is also being communicated to the president. So the president will not say that. That's why the fact that he has adopted Eze Yamu as the candidate of the party of the ruling party. But I see a Buhari who is Buhari will not support a bloodbath to get Eze Yamu installed, or he won't. In as much as he likes Obaseki too, he won't want a bloodbath. So that's why INEC can take that position. INEC is not taking that position alone. INEC is taking into consideration the security situation in the states, which, it's coming from the security operatives.
Yeah, thank you. Judy, but we talk about the histrionics of politicians. All this, we are doing our job here, but they don't care. They don't care.
It's so easy to polarize politicians. We are just looking at what is sensible and what is not. There are people who are saying, oh, the matter is in court and all that. But we know that even politicians obey court orders only when they find it palatable. They select what court orders they want to obey. Why should anyone decide to inaugurate just 9 members in the dead of night? I witnessed the inauguration of the lawmakers in Ekiti. Fayemi didn't do it in the dead of night. I witnessed it. Where Mojid's elder brother became the deputy speaker. It was not at midnight. It was not a situation in which some people even went to the venue in knickers. No. We can't have that. And if the Senate came up with a motion appealing to you as governor to do a fresh proclamation, call everyone and do it. If you do not have an ulterior motive, why wouldn't you do that? Because what he has done amounts to subverting the will of the people, denying those people representation. Look at the number of people, the number of lawmakers who had been denied representation. So even if those lawmakers decided to take the law into their hands, you can safely say is the product of frustration. That's not what I'm prescribing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that people will say, yes, they were pushed to the wall, that the thing had reached this level.
But if politics were not a do-or-die game, you are wondering why this scenario. And since 1999, we have learned nothing, forgotten nothing, I'm only human. It tells me sometimes these things are orchestrated.
Yes.
And you ask yourself, in whose interest? Or in what interest?
From the beginning, in the interest of the governor of Edo State, for example, from the beginning, he felt that his godfather had greater support amongst those who won the House of Assembly elections. So he got the people loyal to him, though they were in the minority, and then inaugurated those
who were still APC members.
All of them APC members at the time, and got them inaugurated, and the minority continued to rule the House with the bogus notion that those people stayed away from the inauguration. And the question people have asked was, okay, did you make the program, the announcement of the proclamation public? When we went to do that of Ekiti, people traveled from outside of Lagos, from different places, outside of Ekiti, to witness it. But this one was done like a meeting of a secret cult in the dead of night. And what do you achieve by that kind of thing?
Okay,
just to shut some other people up. But we can only appeal to the security agencies to deal decisively with anyone, whether it's on the other side or it's on, whether it's in APC or in PDP.
Put simply,
because
apply the law.
Bad politicians are in both parties. So they should deal decisively with anyone who wants to foment trouble in Edo State. The warning had been there on the wall for so long. So we must be ready for that election. We must be ready to stop bloodletting. Okay,
quickly, we move to another election, this time in Edo State, but it involves medical doctors, and we hear the buildup is getting bloodier. And are these things orchestrated, and to what or whose benefit? Here's a glimpse of what transpired in Enugu. Yeah, please come with us.
Okay, thank God I need some more.
Well, you know, pictures don't tell lies. These are footage from Enugu State. By the way, the election I talked about this time was in Enugu State, and it has to do with the Nigerian Medical Association there. Jamiu, this is your country, my country in pictures.
Citizen Jones.
Okay.
If this were a picture, I would have said probably cropped from the maybe Osho Motor Park or my 12, but even the election,
or even a Nollywood flick, you know.
Yeah, even the elections to the positions of the chairman and president of the NURTW, RTAN, and other unions are even better conditions. This is not to stand there, except a few cases. You see the emergence of Musiliu MC Oluom. I mean, he's serving a second term now. He's even in one of the national bodies. These are medical doctors. I mean, you see medical doctors in those days, and you equate them to God. They say we care, but God heals.
Yeah.
So, when this is happening, you want to equate them to God. You believe, at times you say that if a medical doctor cannot heal you, then it means your time is up. It means God really wants to take you up. Right. So, the other day, it was the Nigerian Bar Association. Theirs was done electronically, but then, we have seen a lot of, some of them have gone to court, some of them have petitioned that it was electronic. And you want to wonder, these are associations that will be blaming politicians. And, they are doing it in even worse manners. I recall the last time I saw something like this, even for politicians, was something that happened during the primaries election in Ekiti in 2018, which was later corrected.
Yeah.
And, it is absurd. What are they going there for? Are they going there to serve themselves or to serve the people? Medical doctors.
All right.
All of them.
Jamie, we leave it there. Let's leave it there. But again, we decided to show the pictures just so Nigerians are able to make up their minds. Ours is simply to help mold opinion.
I don't know. Look at the way that lady. The educated people, look at the way that lady.
Well, okay, Jide, how do we bury this?
Well, already there are complaints about the Nigerian Bar Association election. Many members were disenfranchised and they are very bitter. You can, if you worked hard, you prepared to take part in an election, and you are not allowed to vote, you are not allowed to exercise your franchise, your blood will boil. So I can feel the anger of members of NBA who are not privileged to vote in that last election. Now, and that's not the first time that an NBA election will be characterized with irregularities that people will go to court. Usoro, the immediate past NBA president, his matter was taken to court. The election was challenged in court. So I expect these noble professional associations to be able to conduct sensible elections that you can hold up, to politicians, so that politicians can learn. Politicians can learn. But if they are now conducting elections more or less like the NURTW people who usually use violence to resolve their electoral issues, then it is very bad. To see the only advantage is that these doctors, at least they will be able to treat those who are wounded. That's the advantage that they have, but at least that's their profession. So if you got your head broken, at least perhaps the person next to you is in position to just...
That's it, because after all, every other fellow is a doctor.
Yes. So. Well,
good luck to you. Good luck to you. But I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
Oh, it's sad.
In the 21st century,
it's sad.
Nigeria.
It's sad.
And this is a country that leaves everything for God. All right, then. Without preconception or bias to our gallant armed forces battling to contain insurgency and banditry across our country, without much success, Many Western countries have issued safety warnings to their citizens resident here. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office of the United Kingdom has advised its citizens against traveling to many states in Nigeria due to insecurity. The UK says it is reacting based on intelligence reports. In a situation like this, precaution must be our God for a little longer. Must be our God.
Yes, this is a timely warning, but it's not as if this travel advisory is new. We already know that in our country we are facing serious security problems. But what the Britons are saying, if I can quote a little bit of what they said, is that there is a high threat of kidnap throughout Nigeria. Kidnaps can be motivated by criminality or terrorism and could be carried out for financial or political gain. The security environment in the Northeast has deteriorated since 2018. There is a heightened risk of kidnap over there. So they are telling people, look, try your best, don't travel at night, because chances are that if you travel at night, you could be kidnapped. The truth is, we've got to do something about our security. We don't need these foreigners to tell us that this is the true state of things. We know that we are in dire straits, but steps must be taken, to improve security in our countries. Steps must be taken. If we go on, if we allow the level of insecurity to continue, more and more people will lose faith in the government. More and more potential investors will turn away from Nigeria. We must reduce the ungoverned spaces within our country. There are so many areas that are ungoverned, and these bandits are simply running riot in those areas. So we need to put security men on ground in a lot of the spaces that are ungoverned. Otherwise, we will just become a little Somalia.
Yeah. Majid, and of course the warning talked about 21 states out of 36, and this is gripping, it's a grim situation they are painting. But as you and I speak, Majid, night travel is still on. You better believe it. Even Nigerians themselves are not, couldn't be bothered about the risky situation.
We don't need the British government or even the American government to tell us that we are in dire straits, like Jide said. Just yesterday, the U.S. government also issued a similar caution, warning that Al Qaeda and other deadly terrorist groups are already infiltrating Nigeria, causing serious mayhem in the northwest and northeast, especially Katsina, Kaduna, Yobe, Adamawa axis. So, corroborating that statement is the travel advisory issued by the United Kingdom government earlier this morning, that warning their citizens again to take precautionary steps in making trips to about 21 states of the federation. So, telling people not to travel at night, even for we locals, we the indigenes and citizens, we know that it's no longer advisable. Whereas night journeys used to be a pleasure 20, 15 years back. You want to travel at night so that then it was safer, and you can, and that's the way it should be. In developed countries, it's still the norm there. It's pleasurable for you to leave probably London and go to Manchester, or leave New York and travel to Washington at night, and you arrive there late, early morning or midnight. It's the same as traveling by day. But that's no longer so in Nigeria. Even when you travel during the day now, you stand at risk of being kidnapped or being attacked. So especially along some particular axes, Kaba, Jeba, Abuja, Kaduna axis. So we have seen a lot of things happening in those areas. And that's why it calls to question the activities of our security operatives. And we have said it severally on this program that we need to change our tactics, where we need to deploy more logic in tackling the security problem in the country. You see people now, they can't sleep with their two eyes closed, and especially in Kaduna, Katsina. You see people being killed on a daily basis. It's very sad. And we have a government who was elected based on three major, three key areas: provision of security, improved security, anti-corruption, and provision of employment and better infrastructure. But it's like we are seriously falling behind. Also, although people will tell you that things have improved better than what it used to be pre-2015, but I mean, we want a near perfect security situation if we can get 100%. But things are not really rosy in terms of security for lives and property in Nigeria today.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's
okay. Thank you, Majid. Are we in a quandary? Are we in a quandary?
Well, there is. I don't want to say that we're in a quandary, but the government can certainly do better than it has done. And the worst that can happen is for the government to behave like it is powerless. Nigerians want decisive action taken on security. Nigerians want change. If you want to keep the service chiefs, fine. But it must be because they merit it. Because they are serving everyone. They are not just serving the president. The feeling that Abu is the president who can change the services, but they are there for everyone. So if it is as apparent as daylight that they need to be replaced, the president has to look inward and ask himself what he will gain if a preponderance of our people think that, look, in this area, there is a need for change, there is a need for improvement. If it is the president alone who sees great things that have been done by the people that he has put in charge of security, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. He has to feel the pulse of the Nigerian people. He has to feel the pulse of the Nigerian people. As it is now, Nigerian people are not happy with the security situation. And they are telling their president to do something to save the lives of people, to stop the constant bloodletting in Kaduna, in Katsina, in Borno State, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, and many other places where our people are being killed for fun. So, and we expect that improvement in security to happen sooner than later. Whatever the president wants to do, that is the president's business. But what Nigerians want to see is improvement in that area.
Yeah.
No matter the sound bites coming from the president, if people do not see improvement in that area, they are not going to take those sound bites seriously. You can threaten the service chiefs. You can say that you are giving them yellow card. You can say, look, their excuses will no longer be tolerated. What is important to Nigerians is for them to see that change, positive change, improvement in the protection of lives and property in our country. That's what they want to see.
And the whole thing about governance here is about believability.
Yes, they want to be able to believe their government,
to
have faith in their government.
Okay then, now still to come, Naira Marley arraigned in Abuja over COVID-19 violation. He pleads guilty to 4-count charge and gets fined 200,000 Naira. You want to stay with us. Okay then, not very many people saw it coming. I mean, the arraignment of popular musician Naira Marley, talk less of his conviction. Now, Mali, real name Aziz Fashola, had embarked on a non-essential trip to Abuja and back to Lagos during the COVID-19 interstate travel ban on June the 13th. The controversial musician pleaded guilty to a 4-count charge. He was consequently fined 200,000 naira. So let's share the footage with you, and it shows him arriving for the trial. Just watch on.
Come down from here. Look at it.
One thing that is so interesting here is the fact that this has been a long, struggling matter. Many of you in the pen profession have asked us several questions on this and what we are doing. And today we thank God that the law can be slow, and certainly we are sure that the law grinds slowly but grinds very surely. Today we have seen him, that's the artist himself, plead guilty that he actually broke the law, he actually contravened, and the judge in her mercy was very kind to him, giving him 50,000 naira per count charge. Out of the 4-count charge, he got paid 50,000 naira each for each of the count charge. And we are very happy and telling persons that we should learn to obey the law and do what is right and appropriate at all times here. That regardless of what you think you are subject to the law. And even if you run very far and think that time has overtaken the process of justice, that's not true. After about 2 months now, he was brought here and he faced, and we are very impressed about that. And we largely thank the security agencies, particularly the Nigerian police, for actually picking him up and flying him into Abuja for this prosecution.
Okay, then that's Naira Marley arriving the venue of his trial. Majid, not many people saw this coming, but I was pleasantly surprised that he can be made to face the music.
No, I think that's the best thing that could happen to the authorities in Abuja. It's a very good decision. And I think Naira Marley, Aziz Fashola, knows his onions too, and that's why he has pleaded guilty, just like Funke Akindele. I mean, you have a lot of young boys and girls out there, I mean, looking up to this guy, and what is their mantra? They believe in this total disobedience to constituted authority. I mean, they will tell you Malians don't obey laws, Malians don't use belts. You see the kind of trousers they put on, the kind of pants they put on, I mean, as if it's even below their buttocks. I mean, at a time of a lockdown, you took a chartered, but I want to believe that the Abuja authorities should not just stop at Naira Marley alone. The organizers of that show should also be brought to book, because he didn't just bring himself to Abuja, but then he could have said, hey guys, we are under a lockdown, so I'm not performing at this show. Lagos State government just organized a virtual Eid festival. A lot of artists were brought there, but it was televised live. So people were enjoying and watching from home. Only less than 50 people were in the hall there. We saw King Kwam the Ultimate performed at the installation of the new Oniru Oturu. I mean, he was in his Ijebu-Ode home playing at playing or performing for an event holding at Iru Palace, and
in Lagos,
people, in Lagos, and people tuned in from all over the world to watch. So what are we talking about? We have seen several concerts. It is a new world order put upon us by COVID-19. So it is high time we lived up to it. It's high time we show that now nobody is above the law, and this will serve as a deterrent to others that we are for real.
Yeah,
that this is not a joke.
Yeah, Jide, cynics will tell you, but these are children of rich people, and so what?
I don't even know if
and so what?
I don't even know whether Naira Marley is the son of a rich person.
No, I hear he's an influential boy in town, in the country.
It doesn't matter. The laws of the land must be obeyed. There is no, at the time when he went to do that show in Abuja, there was no artist all over the world that agreed to do a show. No artists all over the world. Artists that are so big that normally is not even qualified to lace their shoes. They didn't do shows across the world because the world was even mourning. You can imagine this COVID-19 has killed about 700,000 people already.
In Nigeria?
The earth, no, across the world. The earth has swallowed 700,000 dead. The world is mourning.
Across the globe, yeah.
We are mourning. It's not even time for this kind of celebrations.
Yeah.
And then, according to the airline, they were fooled. And then they came. It was supposed to be a drive-by event.
But are you persuaded by that story?
No. If you thought it was Fashola, the minister, that was going to be on the flight, can't you recognize Fashola when you see him? You should be able to recognize Fashola when you see him. Fashola has gray hair. This boy has not got gray hair. Fashola does not wear dreadlocks. This boy wears dreadlocks.
Okay. But meanwhile, we can chat with Ikaro Atta, chairman of the FCT task force team that effected the arrest. Ikaro, I greet you.
A wonderful team of senior respected journalists and a wonderful big veteran who is anchoring today.
I greet you, sir. So what can you tell us, sir?
No, what I can tell you is, as far as I'm concerned, early this morning, we got a message from the Lagos Police Command yesterday informing us that they would be handing over the controversial singer, that's Mr. Aziz to us, the one we call Naira Marley. And so after all what happened in Lagos, early this morning, we went to the airport. I think he arrived very early this morning at about 8 o'clock on board Dana Air. We picked him up. They handed him over to us at the airport. We went to the Commissioner of Police where they do some signing, and subsequently they gave him fully to us to take for prosecution. We went there, and Magistrate Idayat Akoni sat. The lawyers came. Some lawyers came, very many. They pleaded very strongly and appealed that he agreed. He agreed that all the 4 count charge, he broke the law, that he's very sorry. That's the Naira Marley himself now, and his lawyers now plead for mercy. But what I can tell you in a very clear-cut sense is, like I told some journalists today, that since the Naira Marley issue happened, very sadly, we were brought to the what do you call it now, the punishment room, where we were flogged and we were cautioned. And I said that was right, because the public believed so much in our job and believed that we must be answerable to the public and do what is appropriate. And sadly for us, we missed Naira Marley in Jabi Lake, although it was a very well-arranged program in a way that the plane was there, he flew in and flew back immediately. But our own greatest joy today that we have been able to do something that we consider right and appropriate, that no matter how long someone runs, the law may grind slowly, but it obviously grinds surely here. And we are hoping that other people can learn as well. And Naira Marley himself, let me give you this. I was shocked today from the airport. He was one of the extremely very, very humble. I'm shocked because the kind of thing I hear about the Malian, Naira Marley, some of people who call themselves Mala in Abuja, the way they behave and the kind of exhibition of what we call in Hausa language, iskanchi and naughtiness. Naira Marley I saw today was very humble. He's greeting me. Sometimes he's even almost bending down to greet. He went to the CP. He was almost lying down on the ground. We got to the Eagle Square. You could see him happy, so humble with the hand behind his lap. And somebody came and said, "Are you the Naira Marley?" But what they heard about the Malian are some very, but and every point, maybe somebody said, after leaving us, they will go and misbehave. They will go and sing song to insult us.
Yeah.
But throughout the process, he was
Yeah.
so extremely humble, like a child speaking by a very dangerous spirit.
Mr. Iharo, I just had a feeling you were talking to Malians across the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your job. Thank you for the work that you do.
Yeah, okay.
It's
All right,
a
then.
good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that he's sober.
This is justice. Justice. Don't think about the money, the 200,000.
No.
When you are convicted, you are convicted.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When you are made to serve punishment for a sin committed, sin in inverted commas,
especially when you yourself are, persuaded, convinced that,
that you are wrong.
The law
Yes,
and so on.
yes. So
all right. So all powerful.
It's a good thing.
All powerful big boys in the country must borrow a leaf from
learn from this. Marfor. That's what he's saying. Marfor.
Okay.
So Naira Marley Marfor.
No break. Okay.
That's it. That's what he's saying.
Okay, then to our last story for the evening. Losing a loved one is never easy, but you hurt anytime it crosses the mind. Second Republic Senator and one of the surviving Awoists, Pa Ayo Fasomi, who passed on July 29 at age 94, has been buried in his Iye, Ekiti country home. That's in Ekiti State. Now, eulogies came from across every divide, and not surprisingly so. Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kaide Fayemi, who catalogued Pa Fasomi's struggles in the Nadeco days, regretted that the man died before the inauguration of a school he built in his honor. So here is a story from Osun State on the rites of passage for Pa Fasomi. Please watch on.
It's an event well attended by eminent personalities. They include the state governor, Gboyega Oyetola, his deputy, former governor of Osun State, Chief Adebisi Akonde, representatives of the national leader of APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and the Lagos state government. Some of the children of the deceased were also in attendance. In his sermon, Venerable Oluwagbenro Fabuluje urged politicians to be patriotic as practiced by Senator Ayo Fasomi.
Election pen robbery. This was one of the things that Baba was fighting against in his lifetime. Election pen robbery. All we have are now, well, thank God the armed robbers are there. The Lord will minister to them. But the most dangerous thing that is robbing all of us of our comfort is pen robbery. Pen robbery must be shown, where thousands of naira is changed to billions of naira, and we bleed the nation to death.
To the state governor, his demise is a national loss.
His training as a pharmacist prepared him for selfless service to humanity, and he wasted no time in faithfully transferring it to the larger business of politics. Pa Ayo Fasomi conscientiously promoted, projected, and lived for the principles and legacies of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo to breathe his last. In his 94 years on earth, Pa Fasomi proved that loving and serving Nigeria passionately and without personal benefits is doable.
This is a man that also exemplifies the unity of our people. Although born in Ekiti, he has settled down in Osogbo since 1951, and he has participated in the development and building of the community.
A great man who lived a very extraordinary life. He was my political godfather. He introduced me to the progressive politics.
The deceased was described as a humble, honest, patriotic, and dedicated individual who lived what he preached.
Pa was steadfast, honest, open, everything you could think of a person.
Senator Ayo Fasomi was a very upright, steadfast, and consistent politician.
I pray to God Almighty, Baba will rest in peace, that all of us now that are in politics will be able to emulate him and know that politics is about service, not about what you can get from it, but what you can give back yourself.
Aside from being a great politician in Nigeria, late Senator Ayo Fasami was also the Mayego of All Saints Anglican Church here in Osogbo. The remains of the deceased was later handed over to the Ekiti State government by the Osun State government on Tuesday at Itaure, the boundary between the two states. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.
Okay then, I talked about a loved one passing on. He lives in the heart of whoever survives him. That's the price you pay. But quickly, Majid, my mind goes to Pa Abraham Adesoya, Senator Jonathan Odebi, and of course, not recently, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are members of the Progressive League that queued behind the late Pa Fasami.
Yeah, like a commentator described J.J. Okocha in his at its epic when he was playing football. They said he was so good that they named him twice, J.J. You know, for Payo. You know, there was this struggle. It's like the Osun State government wanted to take ownership of Baba, but then my governor, Dr. Kaode Fayemi, said, thank you guys. He has been with you since 1950. It's time for him to come back home. Like you said, he was buried in the major government area of Ekiti State with full honors. He served diligently, and nobody could have put an eulogy better than the state governor, Dr. Kaode Fayemi, who said with the passage of Senator Ayo Fasami, I mean, a good man has left us. I mean, he was so good. I mean, he's a Baba, very honest, and is somebody that you want to emulate. I mean, I wish some of our politicians these days could emulate Baba Ayo Fasami. Very simple, just like Baba Akonde in Osun. I mean, very contented. I mean, to the extent that the state government, even without a premonition that it was going soon, already named a secondary school, which is after him in here.
Yeah. Thank you, Majid. Jide, you know, you only live once. And if you live that once well enough, once is enough.
Yes.
At 94, what could you ask for again?
Honestly, these Babas are very exceptional in so many ways.
Yeah.
Even in longevity, it showed that it was exceptional, because in this age and time, it's difficult to find people live that long.
And well.
Life expectancy has come down in our
Live
country.
that long, and be well.
You see the way their sense of moderation, is also one reason they are able to live this long. The discipline that we know them for also has to do with the way that they eat, what is ingested into their belly and all that. So this
and what they say.
The integrity. Integrity is everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it has become something scarce in our country. But we will remember a lot of these old men for their consistency, for their integrity. I mean, I found it amusing to hear Baba Akonde saying that he was actually the person who brought him into progressive politics.
Yeah.
Because Baba Akonde has become an institution himself. And here was him. He looked up to someone like Baba Fasami, you know, as a political father. He queued up behind him. So you can see God bless these men with not just good name, but a long life. And we can only continue to try to do our best to be like them. It's difficult in this season, but we have to try to be like them.
Pa Ayo Fasami, 94, golden age. I want to try to be 90 I want to be healthy at that age and speak little and say much. Jide, thank you for another Friday.
I thank you too.
Majid, Jamiu, are you looking at 90, 94 and so on? I wish you well. It's a long road, a tough road ahead. Okay.
Pray to God for longevity.
Yeah. Okay. That will just about do it for today and this week. Many thanks will go to the viewer who will make this program a #1 for him. If you missed this, you may also see the program on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. Meantime, on behalf of the backroom boys here, I, Citizen Jones Hussein, would want to thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye now.